All right, here we go. Today I decided to come to my local park since I am currently off from work and it's really nice out. And I figured that, might be a good time as any to actually shoot a YouTube video. I think probably one of the more interesting things when you're starting oh, something new, whether it's like a new YouTube channel or like a podcast or even like a new project, like it could seem like really daunting, especially if you're putting yourself in an environment where it's not as comfortable as you would normally, put yourself in. Like, for example, again, I'm still getting used to learning how to record videos out in public where you see people like walking out and about, doing their own sort of thing and people looking at you and things like that. But like honestly, sometimes you just have to, go through it to do it, if that makes sense. Especially when you're starting, something out in general. I mean, I think hopefully over time that I'll get better at this and to build up my confidence when doing a lot of public speaking in front of a camera, which is again feels a little weird when there's no one actually behind the camera and I'm staring at an imaginary audience. So there's that. We sometimes overthink things when we're trying something, or for example, people may start to judge or look or give you like, say like weird things and stuff like that. But honestly, at the end of the day, the only opinions that really matter is your own. And I know that's kind of like easier said than done because oftentimes we try to get advice on what we should and what we shouldn't do. What direction we need to go to in terms of what kind of content we have to make. And honestly, you just have to learn to cut out the noise and just kind of do your own thing. Because if you start to overthink and overanalyze, well, this workout, or if I'm saying like the wrong thing, or what exactly do I say, or what do I talk about, you start to find yourself in a place where you are paralyzed by so many like different options to choose from that it's kind of hard to just hone and dive in on that one specific thing when you're bombarded by like so many different thoughts, people's opinions and things like that. But honestly, you just have to go in it and not have a game plan. I mean, I know a lot of people will say, but Louis, but you have to have a plan to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, like, yeah, that may work most of the time, but sometimes, especially if you don't necessarily know what you're doing, I think it's just better to start. I think it's just better to start and dive deep into it, and you'll learn as you go. And that really doesn't matter in terms of like whether it's in relation to like a job, a career, um, a relationship, what you're studying in school and things like that. The only way to learn and to get better at it is to just learn as you go and go through the motions. You learn by trial by fire, by experience. And experience has been the best teacher that life has to offer. And I think that could be said for a lot of things. Sometimes we may think that maybe I might not be good enough to do YouTube, or I may not be good enough to, start doing photography work or learning how to draw or dance and things like that. But my take on that is if you're willing to try something new and you're willing to learn and put yourself in that position where you're hungry, you want to succeed in life, you want to, do things that not a lot of other people are doing, I say go for it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Like what's the worst that anyone could do? Like people will say no or people will judge you for it. I mean, no matter what you do in life, people are always going to judge you based on what you end up doing, what you don't end up doing. It kind of baffles me that like people are so caught up in other people's business and trying to make it seem like they have like some sort of say in it. But honestly, when it comes to that, it's like people are just trying to discourage you or to give their own input, but if they're not doing the damn thing, or if they're not trying it themselves, then you don't have to take their advice. If someone tells me that I can't do photography work, which I mean I already do. For context, I am a photographer, and they're giving their input based on what they think should be done in terms of taking the shot or taking, a specific type of photo or concept. If they're not a photographer or if they don't have any sort of professional opinion on it, then honestly, you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen to them. People are going to constantly put you down, make you go through all these different things, and make you feel some type of way when it comes to just doing anything with your life. And at the end of the day, it's your life. You get to do whatever the hell you want. Take a day trip to the beach. You can, I don't know, go for a coffee, take yourself on a solo date. Just drive around the city, just enjoy some music. I mean, no one can tell you that you can't. I mean, you have your own free will. You can do anything if you wanted to. Obviously, I'm not telling you to, like, I don't know, walk around in public with your underwear. I'm not saying that. Definitely not, because then people are going to start really looking at you for the very weird reasons, and that's honestly kind of valid. I mean, if you're just doing your own thing and your people are just minding their own business, and I mean, you don't really have anything much to worry about other than just doing it. As long as you're doing it and you decide to take action on what you want to do, then you just have to continue building up that momentum, right? That's one of the biggest things when it comes to taking action is regardless if you're scared, sad, happy, depressed, um, you just got to keep moving. You just got to have to build that momentum for yourself. Because if you don't start that momentum, then how are you going to progress moving forward with where you want to be in life? And that could probably be the most challenging and most difficult thing that anyone could ever possibly do, because starting something new can be quite scary. And the reason why it can become scary for us because it's a very unfamiliar territory. That's like that with any situation in your life, whether you start a new job, whether you move to a different country or different state, different city, whether you get yourself into a new relationship, or whether you go back to school, or even just talking to random people out in public, it's scary. Believe me, I've been there before. But over time, as I got older, because I'm 31 now, believe it or not, as I got older, you start to kind of care like less and less. This is my life, and I want to do what I've always wanted to do. And the same could go for you guys as well too. If you want to be an Olympian, you can do it. It just takes a lot of time, effort, work, and patience, because obviously you're not going to be an Olympian and overnight. You're not going to be an expert at becoming a gymnast or a martial arts expert or filmmaker, YouTuber, content creator. When you start, like, you're not going to be good at it. You just have to continue practicing, building up that momentum. In order to get better, you got to continue putting in the work and putting in those reps, and over time, you'll get used to it. We can't let the fear of others and how they perceive us to be hold. We shouldn't let that hold ourselves back. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we are only granted a very short time here on this earth. Because I'll be honest with you, like, tomorrow is not guaranteed for you, for me, for anyone out here, right? I may be here this afternoon, tomorrow I may not be. Or, the next week, or next month, few months, couple years. We may think that we may have a lot of time, but honestly, like, we don't. And maybe that's because of the fact that maybe we don't take our time and our life as seriously as we want to. And I think we should. I think we should be more intentional with our time. How we spend our, resources. Time is a currency that we can't get back. And that's why people say spend your time wisely. We're only granted a certain amount of days here on this earth. When will our last day be? I don't know. I don't know when my last day will be. I don't know when your last day will be, but hopefully whatever you do during the time frame from now to later, I hope you spend your time wisely. And I hope you pursue the things that you've always wanted to do with your life. Imagine 6 months from now, right? From this moment, let's say you decide you want to go to the gym. You want to, get healthy, get buff, try to lead a healthier lifestyle, eat better foods. Imagine if you took the steps now to better your life, and then 6 months to like a year later, you're in a completely different spot and with a completely different mentality, mindset, mood. You feel a lot better than how you felt back then compared to now. Not a lot of people want to take the time to do so because oftentimes it's a lot easier to feed your excuses and your bullshit than to actually get up out the house, go out the door, and do the damn thing. It's hard, but you also got to learn to choose your hard. But not many people want to do it because, oh, I'm too tired. I just got off from work. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it whenever I come up with that plan or write everything down. Like, no. Why wait? Why can't you do it now? Why can't you take the steps to do what you want and to get where you want to be and do it now? Because when we constantly put things off over and over and over again and continue to feed the bullshit excuses that we tell ourselves, then eventually you'll never get to where you want to be in life. You'll be stuck in the same damn place until you decide to stop feeding your bullshit excuses. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but and I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but it's true. It really is true. You have to starve your excuses if you want to put yourself in a better position in life. It's true. If you're going through the same damn thing over and over, not really putting in the effort to improve your life, you're going to be stuck there in the same cycle for the rest of your life. And believe me, I've met a lot of people that have been stuck in that same position when I've talked to people that were significantly older than I am. People in their 40s, 50s, 60s. The one regret that I've always heard a lot when it comes to people is that they regret not going after their dreams, their aspirations. Because you don't want to have to tell yourself that you're unable to do this because of X, Y, and Z. That people have told you you can't do this because of ABC. That should never be the case. Because what matters to you, and for myself included, is that our own happiness is probably the most important thing that we need to be mindful of. Your happiness, your mental health, your life decisions, you come first. No one else. And you may end up disappointing a lot of people, whether that be friends, colleagues, parents, I don't know, whoever. You're going to disappoint people, but who cares? Just don't disappoint yourself. Because people are going to do things to put you down, throw you under the bus, maybe even throw dirt on your name, but you can't let them do it. Yeah, keep pushing forward, my friend. Because if we don't fight for our own happiness and for what we want to achieve in life, what we want to do, I mean, no one's going to do it for us. Because at the end of the day, wherever you are in this I mean, on this earth, planet, country, wherever, I hope you have the courage to get up and move forward and to pursue your dreams and passions and to not let anyone stand in your way or stop you. But, anyways, I hope you have a lovely, amazing day, and I think I will see you in the next video. Peace.